Welcome to postpartum update, 2 weeks out now.
Guys, we made it to the hospital.
This is Miss Letty Rowe. All right, let's start with symptoms. So my mid back has been hurting, not my low back, not my upper back, mid back, and that's not normal for me. I think it's because of breastfeeding, and I just started pumping this week, and so you're just kind of always like rounded and looking down, and I'm not working out right now, so I don't know if that's part of it. My core is not as strong, so I think all of those things are playing into why my back is hurting. So I try to be conscious of like always having a pillow when I feed her, that kind of thing. I also started bleeding a little bit like less this week, so I bet you by next week I'll be all like hopefully done with like pads and all of that good stuff, because it's kind of an annoying part of postpartum. But I know some people that bleed like all the way till 6 weeks or beyond, so just keep that in mind. Like everybody's different, but this is just my experience. Any other symptoms? I do feel like I'm definitely tired, of course, but nothing that's like unbearable. I definitely just fall asleep at 8 o'clock at night now, and I sleep like really hard. If I can get 45 minutes or an hour of sleep, then that's really great. And as far as hunger goes, I am definitely more hungry, but probably not eating as much, just because I feel like I'm always doing something else or choosing to do something else and not eating. So that's it for symptoms. So emotionally, I feel like I'm doing better than last week. Last week I really wasn't bad. It's just you are probably going through more hormonal changes versus this week, but it could change by next week. It could change in 6 months. I know a lot of people that go through, let's say, postpartum depression or the baby blues, like much farther out from delivery. So keep that in mind. Always be aware of what might be normal and not normal for you, and reach out to your physician if you feel like something is just not right. But I cry a lot less during the day. I maybe cry like maybe one time a day. But overall, I feel really great. I love being a mom. Just generally happy. I am, as far as feeding goes, I am still breastfeeding. That's going really well. She is back up to her birth weight, which is what we want for this second week out. I did ask my doctor about when I can start pumping. So she said a couple days ago that she felt like everything was good and established with what my body is doing. So she felt comfortable telling me I could start pumping. So now I'm on that journey, and I can't say that I love it that much, just because what happens is you feed them, make sure that they get kind of like a full feed, and then you're having to pump right after that. So it's almost like you're like doubling your feed time. So instead of 15 minutes, it's 30 minutes now. And thankfully my mom's here, so she can, hold the baby. But if she wasn't like sleeping and she was fussy or something, I don't really see how you could pump right after. I don't know. And then I'm still getting used to my pump, and I just feel like maybe my body isn't responding as well as like other moms that I've seen. So don't take my advice. I think it's really easy to compare to other people and what they can pump and how much they can pump. For me, I have not been able to pump a lot. Like maybe I'll get a 1 ounce to 1.5 ounce bottle a day to use for her at night. But it's still very new. So hopefully my body will kind of like train itself to make a little bit more throughout the day. So I'm working on that. But overall, feeding is going really well. She takes a bottle, which is nice. So it's nice to have like a little extra bottle a day. Sleeping is pretty much the same as last week. Generally, every night you just don't know what kind of night you're gonna have, so you go into it with no expectations. If you went in thinking that you would have a similar night to your best night ever, which is maybe like 3-hour chunks of sleep, you might be disappointed. So that's why I don't I don't go to bed thinking like, oh, this is going to be a good night, because like I said, you'll just be saddened by it not going well. Thankfully, she's not a fussy baby, so she doesn't like wake up and whine and fuss. She just wakes up to eat, eats, goes back to sleep. Maybe needs one diaper change during the night, but right now she's still kind of waking up every hour and a half or 2 hours. So I can't say that I get like great big chunks of sleep yet. High and low of the week. A high would be my mom and dad got to be here. And my mom's still here, so she's been a huge help. So that would be a high. Low would be just dealing with, I feel like I would say this all the way through my bump dates, but dealing with the house, the new place being built, and the kitchen, and we're opening the storefront soon, so it's just a lot of like moving pieces, and I kind of wish that those weren't there. Like I think it just makes life a little bit harder, but it is what it is. We're gonna get it finished. If you haven't watched my bump dates, I did a weekly update every single week while I was pregnant, so if you're pregnant right now, that might be really helpful. That's it. Overall, Scarlett is doing really well. Like I said, she's not a fussy baby. I would say the only like down thing that's not frustrating, but it is what it is. You're kind of just dealing with it, is the fact that she is up every hour and a half or 2 hours to eat. So it was that last week we were getting like 3-hour chunks, maybe a couple, like twice a day for good long naps. And I feel like maybe today and yesterday and the day before she wasn't like that. So it is what it is. You just kind of roll with it. You can't expect a newborn to be on a schedule. As far as products that I've been loving this week, I mean, there's tons of them that I love and use every single day. But when I'm downstairs and working, or, operating downstairs versus like my bedroom or her room, I use this. This is like the Hush. It's portable, and it's just like a little white noise machine. So sometimes what I'll do if she's napping, I'll put her in the Snuggle Me, which is right here. It's kind of like a little pillow with it, like snuggles them in, so it kind of makes them feel like they're being held. So it's just, you're not supposed to like let them sleep in there unless they're being observed. So that's why I call it her observed napping place. And then I'll turn this little white noise machine on, and it usually like keeps her sleeping for at least a little while. You just never know. But these, highly recommend. So as far as my body and healing, I did talk about how like I'm pretty much done bleeding, but I have my first appointment with my OB tomorrow, so I am curious to see like what she thinks and how she thinks I'm healing. I would love for her to say like, I think you're good to do like some bicep curls or like shoulder workout or some upper body workout, that would be really great, but I don't want to do that if she doesn't think it's appropriate. So workout wise, I have just been like going on walks every day, and they're not that long. A couple days ago I went on one, and it just was not a good idea. It hurt a little bit down there, so you just have to like pay attention to how your body's responding to things, and don't do things if it feels bad. As far as my body goes, I really don't think about it on a daily basis, and that's something I highly encourage if you are in the same like phase of your pregnancy or life. It's so much more important to think about your baby, and don't necessarily concern yourself with how much weight you've lost or the clothes that aren't fitting. Eating less. You have to feed your baby. You have to be mentally sane and just be as positive and happy as possible for your baby. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, for me personally, I am not too concerned with it. I have definitely lost weight just because everything's kind of like coming off from labor and pregnancy, and just clothes are fitting a little bit better, but I'm not like back in my normal clothes. So let's take a look at my body this week compared to last week.